Hey guys, welcome back. BJ the Brave here, joined by the Ecclesia. We are diving in for part two of FORGECAST. That's right, it's been a few weeks since we did the last episode, but we just did part one over on the Ecclesiacs channel as always. So if you haven't seen it yet, obviously pause this, head over to the Ecclesiacs channel. I'll put the link below. Go and watch part one, and then come on back here for part two. We just broke down the very recent, I think it was yesterday, the recent balance patch, which saw some huge buffs to the sisters. And Ecclesiac, we were just saying that there were a couple of things that we felt were missing from this patch.
Hmm.
One of them being the Exorcist, and you talked about suggestion that it does was it one AoE damage for every 2 points?
Yep.
I was thinking I love that idea, by the way, but it might be maybe it's complicated from a program. The other thing they could do is at the very least just give it like for 4 faith it does like a Storm Raven effect. It does 2 damage. Like
Yeah, could be.
because
4 fate something, 8 fate something, and maybe then 12 fate something, right?
it's just doing nothing, right? But if you've got 7 faith, it's doing nothing. And the other one you mentioned was the offense card. So did you want to say something about that?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's one of the other things that I have been shouting about for a long time. I think that offense card needs to change. I can understand why there's not done. She's basically unplayable at that point because if you think about it, what is she supposed to do? She drops a grot basically, and the worst part is she can't even heal it because that 2 damage is not damage. That 2 health is not 1 damage. It's basically cutting 1 max health. So Junith can't even use her prey ability on it. With Erica, there's like more potential because she can give health, which means that if she would were to play something, then she would on it, and that something would once again be on the basic health it was supposed to have. But Junith gets absolutely crushed because the whole idea of Junith is that she's supposed to summon these 1/3s that are going to give her room for generating a lot of faith, which that can pay off later. But now she just summons useless grots basically, and it's never going to work because she buff it like Gaskell. She doesn't have Makari like Gaskell, so there's not much point in just doing that in any case. So I think the Raging Storm in general needs to change.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Also, storms come and go. There's a few offense cards out there that say when a player earns a skull. Like if they said something like when player earns a skull, like give all units on the board -1 health or something.
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind that. Is it like you can play around that and it's key part in the game and it only happens there. But every single turn is too much for sure.
Yeah, it's a little too much because it just trashes the sisters most of all. So
Yeah,
unless you're once again unless you're playing Mormon Vol, but Mormon Vol is the best warlord they have. So that's the problem that I have in general with that. So I think we certainly need to see a change with that like very soon.
definitely, definitely. All right, so if we think about the entire faction now, the Adeptus Sororitas faction, the new release, and then with the balance updates and everything. What just to kind of do the card of the week segment? Let's keep it just on sisters. So what is your one card? What is your favorite card in the faction? And what is your one card that you think is perhaps been a bit slept on or a bit underplayed in it?
Well, the best card or my favorite card is probably the 4 energy one. The what you call it? The flame. Basically, what's it called? Is
Oh
it
yeah,
4 or is it 3? It's 4.
cleansing
Yeah,
flame.
cleansing flame. That's like really good. That's
Yeah,
a Korcha assault, but better. It destroys gene stealers. It deals a lot of damage. It's good if you get it in late game as well. Double copy, for example. It's just absolutely good. It was good pre-patch. It's great post-patch. So it's overall a super good card. However, after the changes, I would also say perhaps I would also say that perhaps Seraphim or the other thing are also pretty good. The Retributor.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
can say about that for sure.
Mm. Yeah, good choices for sure. I also really loved Cleansing Flame. I think my certainly I'm gonna say like one of my more slept on cards is the Missionary. Um,
Mm.
this card is like it's obviously it's got a massive weakness, right? Like, but it reminds me of the Marksman, the 4 dropping Tau, in that if you get ahead on board, like if you're playing nicely with tempo up to E4 and then you drop this, it really it's another one of those pressure cards, right? Like your opponent's like got to deal with it, and it's not easy. It's not easy if the tempo is on. Like, but if you're like behind on level board, then it's not as good. But it's pretty nice. I like the fact that it can help you gain faith, and you've got the hymn, so you could get another faith point, or you can play the 2 drop. And speaking of which, and I do love Dialogus. I think since the patch, this is definitely going to be a card that I very much enjoy. But I think for me, my favorite card is actually the Spirit of the Martyr, because
Mm.
this is like quite a unique card. Like there's no other card that's anything like this in the game. But I have come across cards like this in other games. I used to play the Elder Scroll Legends, and there was a card like this. And what I love is like the jigsaw puzzle of setting it up, right? Like especially when you're playing like say you're playing Morven, where you can ping quite easily, and you can like set these boards up where you just do insane things with this, like just ridiculous things. What was the one that I did earlier? Oh boy. Oh, that was it. Uh, the combination of Spirit of Martyr um when you have the hollowed martyrs on your warlord.
Oh, it's nasty.
Oh my god. Like you just kill like 5 health units like immediately. It's just insane. So I'm really liking the Spirit of the Martyr as a kind of bit of a different AoE. And it does require setup, so it can be a little bit dead if you don't do it right. But I like that kind of mini game challenge with it for sure.
It's a it's a very good card. It's basically reminiscing a card that we no longer have in HHL. It used to be an Iron Warriors card, Viral Bombs. It was exactly the same card, but it cost 5, and the initial damage was 2, and then every tick was 1.
Yeah,
So it was the same thing, and it was so scary
yeah,
because like you could just blow up the whole board, and then with the rework, it's gone. And now I'm really happy we have it here because I
yeah.
used to love that card a lot.
It's
So
very good.
yeah.
And it bending the rules a little bit, a little bit of an honourable mention for me, and it's one that I kind of like. I didn't start off as high on it, but it's becoming more and more like my go-to. I just think the Crusader is like really cool, because obviously like if you just play it as a 2 drop without the faith, it's not great, but it still has that thing we talked about earlier, right? Which is that it's a vanguard in Sisters of Battle, so it
Yeah.
protects your warlord to get a prey, especially the first turn. Like if you just drop this turn 1, your warlord's safe unless you're playing some like Imitate is going to ping it or something like that. Your warlord is pretty safe, right? They haven't got the resources with 2 energy to be able to deal with this and deal with your lord. So that means that if you run these and you run prayer, you can pretty much guarantee a prayer the first turn. That makes sense because like you've got 4 options. Then let's talk about when you do have the 3 faith, which since the patch is much easier to do. This card's insane. This card is, think about it. Give me another 2 drop in the game that is bringing you this kind of value for 2 energy with 3 armor. If you play it in Erica, you can add +1 health to it, which when it's got 2 armor, +1 health is a massive deal. Um, and add what we just said to start with anyway, which is that Vanguard in Sisters is worth a little bit more because it protects the player. So Crusader for 2E is this card's won me so many games. Like it's so good, so good.
Yeah, and it can be summoned by a preacher or missionary or whatever it's called. So
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's a little honourable mention there. All right, so let's just chat a little bit about the Warlords then, please, because I'm really keen to get your thought process on the 3 Warlords. And I'm really kind of keen to maybe start out. We'll just outline what they do, and it'd be good to kind of get your thoughts on how you think these are different and what some of the kinds of builds that you think, the archetypes, if you like, that you think go well with these lords. So let's start with the basic card, the starter card. If you're new to the faction, you will get Erica Luminous, and she's a 35 health, and she prays to give 1 health, not heal 1, but give 1 health, so it can go above starting health. And then the talent is Righteous Fury, a Fury of the Righteous, which has just been buffed. Now it does 1 damage, but once you've got 3 faith, it will actually do 1 damage and then 2 damage, and that's important, right? Because it's not just 3. So like the 1 could ping a shield, and then 2 would deal 2 damage, for example. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Erica? And
Uh, I think she's all right. First of all, the buff was really good to her. Her ability is pretty good. Her ability is exceptionally good if they don't use the friggin' offense card, because +1 health for 0 energy is always really good. She has a very big pressure with her ability. I think the archetype that she needs to play is, contrary to popular belief, perhaps not late game. She needs to play more of an early mid range type of warlord, where she kind of benefits from her plus health to get a lot of praying early mid game units down to the board. Like, for example, the missionary that you said, or whatever it's called, the 4 energy card that you said was underrated. Maybe Battle Sister Gunners and stuff like that. And then when she reaches her goal, then she becomes quite aggro, because per turn she can deal 5 damage potentially to the enemy warlord, going face and then shooting. So that's a huge deal, because 5 damage per turn, that's, we're talking Gordrang levels of damage with Makari. So it's really, really serious. Now, if you do play her towards the late game, it actually becomes a bit of a problem. Let me tell you why. I've had some games with Erica where when we enter the late game, because of the double draw of the overtime, sometimes my warlord power gets swallowed. So it's it's not good, because you lose one of your main things.
mm,
So I think she would go for more of an early mid-range aggro-y type of sister. I think that's what I see her as.
okay, so let's talk about Junith. Bring Junith in, and then maybe you can build on what you just said in terms of the differences that you see between them. Because Junith's also 35. She actually also has access to heal, but it is heal 1. It's not give 1 health, so it can't go above the max health. Um, can heal herself though, which is good. Um, and the talent for Junith is the Lead the Righteous, basically deploy a battle sister. So, what do you think to Junith? And and again, what do you? How do we think that these sort of differ in how we should be building them?
Yeah, it's quite different actually, because Junith cannot play aggro. She doesn't have anything to play at aggro. She's more of a go wide and generate a lot of faith type of warlord. So
Mm,
she's supposed to drop those battle sisters, and you suddenly have a problem, because there's a 1/3 on the board that can pray next turn, and Junith starts praying on turn 1. Even though it's not healing anything, it can still be triggered. So you now have a big choice. Am I going to take out the sister, or am I going to shut down her faith? If I shut down her faith, then she summons another one next turn, and now 2 things are praying, and there's a third one there. So every turn she goes wider and wider and wider, and she gets a lot of these things, and it becomes very hard to control her
mm,
faith.
mm,
Well, more like it would be if there was no offense card in the game. Now it's trash, because you just drop and they kill it, and the next turn you drop it, then they kill it and drop a 3 drop, and you just lose the game. Because, yeah, because they were able to take out your grots, not your sister, battle sister, your grots in fancy armor. And yeah, I know I'm like joking around right now, but I think that card is ruining this warlord completely. It's
yeah.
also kind of taking the thing from Erica, but Juna's problem is like the offense card completely kills her, because she's supposed to be the go wide early, get a lot of faith, and then in the late game maybe drop an exorcist on their face. So with all that faith that you've gathered, or something like that. But now she just can't achieve that. Plus, I do think that her ability is on the shorter end of the stick. It's just the worst version of Erica's ability, which is kind of stupid, because she can't heal during the offense card. It's impossible, because the offense card doesn't deal 1 damage to the unit. What it does, it just cuts the health, as I mentioned. and she can't do it. Erica can give health. She can't. Her ability is very bad. I think what they need to do about it is that they definitely need to change that ability. They need to either buff that ability, even like, let me tell you this, even if they remove the offense card and she drops the 1/3s, it's still not that really original. It's still a copy paste of the other Warlord's ability and just the worst one. So I think perhaps what they could do is they could like change her ability a little bit. Maybe it could be heal self and adjacent units or something. I don't know. Maybe then it could be a little bit different because right now it's just bad overall. I understand that it comes for free, so it can't be too strong, but +1 health and heal 1 +1 health is always going to outscale heal 1. But once again, if there was no offense card, it would kind of make sense, I guess, because it would heal the unit. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it could be heal a unit, and if that unit is damaged, if it's a troop and it's damaged, give it something. I don't know. I have no idea, but first that offense card needs to go, else this Warlord is going to be trash. But overall, the idea would be go wide, get a lot of faith, and drop something like an Exorcist late. I think that's how I would see her. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. It being the like go wide archetype, because Erica seems to be able to play kind of like potentially an aggro build, aggro to sort of mid range, and also a control build. Although I don't think the control build is as good as Morven Val, but she can potentially do that. But that's really interesting what you say about Junith. So I think Junith almost feels like the most specialist of the warlords. Like it's yeah, and that the best Junith deck. I think I played Vorus. In fact, we could even watch it if you want. You want to watch this game with Junith quickly?
Let's do it.
So I think I saved it for exactly this reason. I'm pretty sure game that I lost, and it was he was playing this go wide deck that we are talking about. Yeah, this one here. So let's just watch this. I'll flick it forward a little bit. But you're going to see kind of, if you think about what the Ecclesiarch just said, guys, about that very niche of kind of go wide quick and that creating too many praying units to deal with, you're really going to see that in this game. Now, I can't remember if this was pre or post patch, so
Oh, now look, this is actually a pretty interesting thing because look at this. You're going second, so you can't trigger the offense card. Now
exactly.
now we're gonna see what she could do if there
Yes.
was no offense card.
Yeah, 50% of her game, she's great. So he you see she goes with the and immediately it's like a problem, right? Because Erica can't really pray. You've got to deal with this. So you end up spending your thing to, and this is why I think Erica is actually weak against the other two warlords. That's one of Erica's biggest drawbacks. The other two warlords are favored, and then she goes into this. So the pressure now is stopping me from praying quite hard uh, uh, to be honest. I'm just like I'm gonna have to deal with it. So I'm not doing very well here. And meanwhile, I have to try. I'm trying to disrupt his prayers. He's already up to 1 faith, but now he's ahead on the board. And then, like you say, he then plays this again. It's now another 3 drop. Now he's got 2 prayers, and already at this point, I feel like I've kind of lost the game, right?
You kind of have, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of Dunsky. I mean,
There's,
obviously we
I
got.
don't. Oh, look at that! He does Beacon of Faith.
And then he goes Beacon of Faith, exactly. And that's a permanent. That card's very good in this type of build because now he's established a board, right? And we're in a lot of
Wait
trouble
a
here.
minute. Can you just pause for a second? What does Beacon of Faith do again? Can
So
you show me?
it gives +2. So if you gives +2 health to
Oh, and
units.
then it's yeah, okay, sure.
And but
Yeah.
remember that's includes your Warlord. And this is now 5, by the way. It's not. I think it's still 6. No, it's still 6. But again, give +1/+1. That is a permanent +1/+1 to your
Yep.
Lord. So that's also very, very interesting. So yeah, we had a flanker, so we could finally like deal with one of these units. But look at this. This sister's already now up to like a 2/5, and he's already up to um, 2 faith. Now the Hospitalia. So I think we used flames to try and down, but again, you know, into his turn 6, he just basically drops another another sister.
Yeah, so it's an unending pressure,
Yeah,
basically.
and he
Yeah.
also uses these, you see. So think about it. He used the Beacon of Faith, and now he uses this as well. So it's all about putting like cheap units down and buffing those units to keep the board. And then you're going to see in a minute how he then starts to go wider once he's established it. You know, we're very like reactive. We've got flankers. We're trying to get back into it. We haven't prayed, guys. You know, like this is E6 now. We've not prayed once because we've been constantly having to respond to his pressure.
It
So
reminds me of how terrifying it is to play against Nemesaur with system.
yeah, yeah. And now he plays that, and now he's got this guy as well. So we know, like, if we don't deal with this because he's on
And
3
another
Fae,
one.
we're gonna have the bloody Crusader coming down, and then he plays that as well. So now all these like 2-cost units, you can then get the buff. So he's played 1 Beacon and 2, whatever that card's called, Conviction of Faith. But you're gonna see some interesting stuff. So now he brings the Beacon down. So he brings the Crusader down. Can get another sister and drop a Hospitalia. And now look at his board.
Yeah, exactly,
And
exactly what I said. Like
he's
that's the
not
thing.
played a unit that costs more than 4, right? It's all cheap units and cheap stratagems that buff those units. Okay, I really like this concept. This is like the best concept I've seen for Juna for sure. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it's like exactly what we discussed. We said that it should be a swarm and go wide warlord. But the only problem I see with this game, which is a really good game by the way, is that if you were going first and did the offense card, she wouldn't have a board at all. She would
true.
still be ahead in faith, for sure, but it wouldn't matter anymore because she would never build up the board, and then you would just eventually overtake her.
True.
So yeah, that's the thing that kind of bugs me about the
No,
offense
the office
card.
card is broken, that's for sure. And also praying and then putting the thing on this is quite nice because now you've
Yeah,
built
it's
almost like a
awesome.
little crisis suit or something. Gonna ping that. Obviously, the bigger unit is like paying off for us a little bit here, but. And I actually thought, oh, have I stabilized here? You know, although you've got to think I'm down to 13 health and he's got 6 faith and I've got 1. That's a big, you know, don't just look at the board state. Oh, by the
Oh,
way, do
what?
you see this? So get the Seraphim, doesn't come back. So this is one of the games that where I said to you, it kind of
Yeah,
cost me.
I think you actually should have dropped the Vanguard,
Yeah,
big girl.
yeah. I was thinking this, you know, Seraphim
Oh,
would have
look
helped
at
me
that.
clear.
Then she comes with the retributors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he drops that. Seraphim clears. Big unit's gone and he's got the board again. Now we're into overtime. The flagellant things trying to wrestle the board back.
Oh my god. Gets a lot of value.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then this card as well, right? So quite a lot of like the 3 drops, pretty much all the 2 drops. And he really is typical like kind of go wide scenario here where he's going to go around me. If he can deal with this Vanguard. Now,
He's playing a very interesting deck though.
it is interesting, isn't it? And your point's well taken about obviously the offense card would mess him up completely, but now here we go. Look, Defenders of Faith, because I've got 4 units down. So because then you ask how do you deal with when they start to play these bigger units? Well, this is
Oh
how.
my god, that's so slow. Oh my god, look at that. And he stuns you, right? Nope.
No, this isn't that game. I know what you're thinking. You got to think he already had 4 units. It was a great turn to play that card
Absolutely.
because he's still got the units to then trade down. And now by the end of this turn, it's going to look so wonky this board state.
Yeah, you're not coming back from that one. Even if the Spirit of the Martyr just takes you out.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. And you know, I'm sitting here with one faith. He's got 7. It's like he's got how many prayers on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 prayer units. So it's like
Yeah,
a
two things. Two things basically. One was the lack of the offense card. The second was the right of restoration.
mm, yeah. So really interesting. It's kind of like a snowball effect of like you said, lots of cheap units go wide, protect the board with the blessing of the righteous and the shield of, is it called shield of conviction, the 3-drop? Uh, he played 2 of, didn't he?
Conviction of faith.
Conviction of faith. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Protect the board. Yeah, really, really interesting timing on the 6-drop that plays out all the sisters. The defenders of the faith. Good timing on that. Yeah, it's a really interesting deck. So yeah, that I think that one articulated your point really on how to build Junith. And so what about Morven then? What are your thoughts on Morven and the
Oh, she's basically the same as she was on release. She needs to play the penitence build. She's really good. She's got 40 HP. She's got a damage steroid. She's got the best prey out of all the sisters because one damage is one damage. So that's one thing. She got great synergy with penitent engines. She's got great synergy with anything that has penitence. She can deal a lot of damage with martyrs and still stand because she has like the HP for it. Yeah, so I think she's the one who plays the devoted control deck because she can pull it off.
Yeah, this card is so good in her, right? Like you wouldn't really play this card in the other units, but in her it's like superb.
Yeah, it's really good.
Um, and like you said, the Mortifier is one that I wasn't playing initially, and I'm starting to realize this card is fantastic. I think this card is
Of
really,
course.
really good. Really, really good.
No cheat, high health, disgusting ability.
And it even does a lot more immediate impact when you think about how it combines with flagellants and pings and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
super.
one of those units that's a threat because if it doesn't get removed, you're risking a KO next turn. Because if you use Spirit of the Martyr, well, have fun.
Mm. So so overall, I don't know about you, but I think overall for me, Morven is the best at the minute. I really feel
Same.
like even the offense card doesn't punish Morven as much as it does the
She
others.
doesn't care.
She doesn't
You
care.
you do the offense card. Now you made everything easy for me to ping. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So Morven is like obviously the 40 health, right, over the 35 is always a big advantage. And I think there's something more basic as well for me, which is that when you pray, which you need to do, you sacrifice trading. But because she deals 1 damage when she prays, like she actually can she's still contributing towards trading. And how
Yes.
many turns do you finish units off or do something effective with that ping? Pinging is
I
so
love.
powerful.
It's a zero damage deal one and the zero energy deal one damage. It's amazing. Obviously, it'll remain as amazing. Even like when the enemy warlords attacking, they're just pinging their face. It's really good.
Yeah. So, do you think there are any archetypes or sort of builds that are a bit underexplored at the minute between the three, or things that cards and synergies that haven't really been tried yet?
Oh, hmm. I think a miraculous feat is one because now that we can actually get a lot of faith easily, I was thinking maybe Celestine could become a big problem, but Celestine is still vulnerable to stun, so I'm not sure just how good this is going to be. But technically speaking, if you do get a lot of faith, then this is basically the ultramarine legendary, but two of them, so it's pretty good. The other thing that's not being explored enough is, I think, like running stuff like Dominion. Maybe the early game is going to be pretty good. And the late game, I'm still hoping that Exorcists and Immolators we're going to make somehow work. That's the other thing that I'm thinking of. Everything else I think is kind of all right. Poor Ephrael's turn.
By the way, this card got a slight buff, which we didn't talk about. Obviously
Yeah,
the patch obviously made this card better, which is the card that she pumps out every turn. I've not heard anyone talk about that. It's insane value. It's just very slow.
I could see this being very good with the infantry defense card. Playing this for 5, yikes. Well,
Infantry
unless it's the
defense.
ultramarines and
Oh, yeah.
they're just gonna
You mean
blow it
the
up
level
instantly.
40 on the Forge card thing?
Yep, it
Mm.
could be pretty interesting unless your opponent is like Space Marines or something. Once again, though, I think the problem with this card is that if you have something like this on the board, probably you don't want to pray.
Yeah,
Probably you just
yeah.
still want to go face.
That's
That's why I kind of suggested to nerf the stats on this, maybe reduce the health, but give her a rally to deploy a Celestian. So that could be like better. But then with the offense, it might get a little too funky. So
I
I don't
wondered.
know.
I wondered about
Defense card, I mean, yeah.
making her like the Eldar legendary that for every stone that you've got spits out a wraith guard, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
know, what if she did like a what if she had like a multiple level thing? So it was like if you've got two if you've got two faith, um, she spits out like a Celestian. If she's got four faith, she spits out two. If she's got, 6 or 8 faith, she spits out three. Something like that. So it's immediate. It's a payoff card rather than a praying.
One of the things that we are missing in this game are payoff cards in general
Mm,
because
yeah,
not the game for the sisters. I mean,
yeah.
because like I don't know. It's like the Exorcist is your only big payoff for the late game. Uh, to gain after you gain a lot of faith, and even that doesn't scale too much. Immolator is slow.
Well, I mean, imagine Immolator. Imagine Immolate. Why can't Immolator have flank if you've got 6 faith?
Or my suggestion for it was to give it a rally to deal 3 damage, and if you had enough faith, permanently apply vulnerable to the targets, melting their armor. So there's a lot of things this thing could do. If not a flank, it should at least have a rally because look at once again, very slow. You drop this, if it lives, why would I pray with this? I would go face instantly, like right. So
Well, when I was thinking of flank, I was thinking about the wraith. What's the Eldar 8 drop? The Hemlock, right? The Hemlock. If it's got
yeah,
it's got flank, and if it's got 3 stones, it's got 3 blast. So like that's 8 mana. So okay, so I'm saying 6 faith, whereas that only needs 3 stones. Obviously, that does spend the stones, whereas you don't spend faith, you just keep it. But yeah, there needs to be something, right? Like, because this could be a cool unit if it just had a bit more immediate impact.
yeah, because right now Dreadnought's better, Hemlock's better. That's a general problem. There's a lot more stuff better at 8.
So just to wrap up then, if we think about this recent patch, I've seen some people saying, "Oh, it's." Some people saying it's really great, and other people are saying, "Oh, it's not quite there yet. I don't think it's like really being consequential enough to close the gap." Where do you come down on that?
Still need to play more games and still need to explore some archetypes. I would say they're better. They're no longer like trashy except Junith. I think Junith is going to be in a tough spot because if she gets played and go wide becomes annoying, more and more people are going to figure out that the offense card is her bane. And going second on Sisters is not that good either in general. And plus, that is really terrifying. I would say we'll see a lot of Morven. We'll see
Yeah,
some Ericas as well, but my prediction is that Morven is going to be the playable one. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. We still need to see. But if the gap is not enough, I think the only thing we're missing is a little bit of late game. Because actually, I played a couple of games today with Sisters, and you know how I felt always that the early game was very good, but then something was missing in the late game. Like I had nothing to compete with the Emotech dropping his combos and stuff, right? Just had nothing to compete with it. So what I'm thinking is that we're missing a bit of late game.
yeah, we are.
Maybe the Exorcist buff, maybe it changes to Ephrael Stern, maybe the Immolator buff, and we'll be there, I guess. But we'll see. Maybe we're already good. Who knows? We'll see.
I don't think we are there yet. I still think one of the biggest problems that Erica and Junith have is the fact that one one damage interrupts prey. Like that has such a I can't tell you like how big if it was if you needed to do 2 damage minimum to disrupt prey, it would completely transform mechanic because there's so many things like Imatech pinging it. Zephyr Blades, Shuriken, when you've got shield on from prayer. Like there's so many things that just I don't know. I just think and in your own units, like for example, do you run Arco Flagellant, which is such a good card, right? This card is amazing. Do you run that in Erica?
I have to. It's the thing that I have to. Otherwise, I wouldn't because it interrupts you.
Exactly. And Junith, you already said, Junith wants to go wide with small units. So the
Hmm.
last thing on earth you want to be playing is Arco Flagellant.
Yeah.
But but it's so good in itself, and it helps you. It's one of the few tools you've got for kind of trading with the board. Similar with the 4-drop that I love. Like this is another one, right? Can you really play that? You can't really play that with Junith.
You can't because this, apart from the fact that this destroys your own board, you don't have enough HP to do that. The only one who has enough HP to do that is Morven Val.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't synergize as well with Sisters as it used to synergize with Perturabo. Because you know what Perturabo's ability was? He would charge. So for one turn, he would just press 2 energy. Nothing would happen. He was charging. Next turn, he dealt 6 damage to a target. So basically, what Perturabo would do, he would just blast you in the face a few times, then drop virus bombs, and kablooey, you were out. And if that wasn't enough, he would drop a Contrador, which was 5 energy, deal 7 damage. So basically what I'm saying by that is that we had that card on something that was aggro, right? It was just dealing a shit ton of damage.
Mm,
In Sisters, you're not exactly doing that, so that card kind of disrupts you. Though it's a very good card still on Morven Val because Morven Val plays the Patience Penitence build. She's got 40 HP, so there's big chance she's gonna be the winner when you trade with that. So yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now then, if I can sort this out, let's have a look. That's showing. Yeah, it is. Excellent. Okay, so please, just to finish, what probably
Mhm.
everybody doesn't yet know is that we are going to be, well, I'm going to be running a 12-hour celebration stream. And this is going to be on Saturday, the 8th of June, starting from 12 p.m. GMT. Now, you and I are going to be resurrecting one of our first creations, which is Forge Clash. Um, so this is going to be happening at 1700 hours, guys. That is 5 p.m. GMT. Obviously, figure that out to your own time zone. Um, and basically GMT is like the same as UTC, Universal Time or whatever. So basically figure out the time and come and tune in for this. What the Ecclesiarch and I are going to do is we are going to basically run a tournament style match. Now this is something that um, doesn't uh, doesn't actually get we don't get to see it much in this game, right? Because we don't have many tournaments. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting 3 warlords each, and when you win a game, that warlord scores a point, but is then retired. And the first one to win with all 3 of their warlords is the winner. The Ecclesiarch and I have chosen those 3 warlords, which we're going to share with you in a second. And we're also, I believe, going to share our deck lists ahead of time. So just like many tournament formats, it will be open deck lists. So we'll kind of know what's in our opponent's deck. So we'll be trying to play around cards and things like that. So you should see some really good tactical fun play. So Ecclesiarch, do you want to introduce your 3 warlords that you're going to be bringing to the Forge Clash?
Absolutely. So one of the warlords that I am gonna be bringing is Morven Val, and buffs are just in time. I have to say. Maybe they'll also fix the right until then. The second warlord that I will be bringing is my Neurothrope, played on control. And the third one is, of course, going to be Motek. So
Imhotep.
those are going to be my 3
Nice.
champions.
Nice. And I have to say, I probably would have gone for Morven if I'd seen the um, if I'd seen the balance patch, but we kind of decided this before the patch notes dropped. I've gone for Manius Calgar, which I'm actually going to be playing my big guard deck that we talked about earlier. So it's not the aggro Calgar, it's my big guard Calgar. I'm going to be running Gazgul Mag Uruk Thraka, and if anyone's been following the channel, I just felt like that deck has to feature on my celebration stream because I've played so much Orc control in this game. Like I was like, that's got to feature somewhere. And then the last one is going to be Abaddon.
And that's a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So, you taught me how to play Abaddon, so you can't, you can kind of, it's like a win-win situation for you because it's like you either beat him, or if you lose to me, you can just say, well, I taught BJ how to play Abaddon, so it's kind of like your win anyway. Yeah, so that's going to be happening at 5 o'clock, guys, GMT. Really looking forward to that. We're going to be doing all sorts of stuff on that day. We're going to be giving away some deck booster packs and having a lot of fun and trivia and stuff with chat as well. So drop on by either on Twitch or YouTube when you get a chance. Anything that you want to let people know about from your channel, your side, Ecclesiarch?
Well, let me think about it for a second. No, I don't think there's gonna be I don't think there's gonna be a lot of things, new things going on. Mostly I'm gonna be letting out some Warpforge content, perhaps for Erica or Judith. I'll see how that rolls. There might be an updated Neurotrope deck as well. Also, there's the Thousand Suns dropping this week, so everybody knows where I'm gonna be for a little bit in HHL because Thousand Suns are my go-to legion, like my one of my most favorite ones. Even though Ariman is for some reason a copy of Oricon. What? Okay, anyway, let's ignore that for a second. And there's gonna be daily, or maybe like every other day, lore shorts as always. So that's not
Yeah,
gonna be what's gonna be happening on my channel for this week. Oh, and if anybody's interested, there's also a fan-made card video coming probably on Sunday. Some of you have been waiting for that one, and that's pretty much it. Yeah,
cool.
nothing too crazy.
And if anyone hasn't seen it, I started a thing called Battle of Four Warlords, and Ecclesia actually had a go. It's on his live section, so when you go on his channel, if you click on live, not the normal videos, find his Battle of Four Warlords challenge. I really enjoyed that. And I kind of have a challenge as well. I don't know if you're up for it. You don't have to commit to it now on the podcast, but I was thinking the Battle of Four Warlords, but we could do the Battle of Three Sisters. So we could basically do Battle of Four Warlords format, but only have 3 warlords, and we do it with Erica, Junith, and Morven. We both do it,
Ooh.
and then kind of like do either a stream or a video of that, and then kind of like see what we both come up with. I think
I'd
that'd be
love
pretty
to do
cool.
that.
Yeah,
I'd love
let's
to do that.
let's do that at some point this month. All right, guys, that is it for this week's episode of FORGECAST. Hope you've enjoyed that. Look forward to seeing you guys on the 8th. Massive thanks, Ecclesiarch, as always, and look forward to our game this weekend.
All right, guys. See ya.
Let's go play some sisters. Ciao, guys.